Randall Hughes with GodGlorified.com, and we did a video yesterday on John chapter 4, verses 20 through 24. In it, we pointed out the fact that Jesus says in John chapter 4, verse 22, that ye worship ye know not what, for salvation is of the Jews. This verse in and of itself is not all that remarkable, possibly. What makes this verse remarkable to me is the fact John does not give commentary on it or have a verse that explains away the truth that's just been affirmed, that the Jews are correct in their worship of God as one. If God were a Trinity, there would be an explanation, much like we have in John 7:39, where Jesus has been talking about the living water and coming unto him and drinking, and yet he wanted to make it clear. John adds his commentary to say, well, Jesus is getting a little bit ahead of himself because the living water is not available just yet. Yeah, he talked to Nicodemus, and he talked to the woman at the well about, and Nicodemus was just about the Spirit. The woman at the well, he mentions living water, but that's not available till after Jesus is glorified. He gives that commentary, and John's gospel is filled with additional comments to explain. We know that however John the Baptist was commissioned to baptize, he was also commissioned to look for the one and affirm the one that the dove descended on, or the Spirit descending like as a dove. And that we get that detail from John's gospel. There's no detail like that in the other three synoptic writers. We get detail about the pool of Siloam, where the man with palsy was healed. We get background there. And so I feel confident that John would have given some level of explanation of the distinction between the Father and the Spirit, if there were such a distinction. Instead, he very clearly says, they're speaking back and forth with the woman, Jesus and the woman, speaking of God as Father, and then says God is Spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. And so he does not go to a plural pronoun to try to indicate the distinction of persons, because Father is simply a relationship that God has with all creation, and that is why. And so another point as to why God is not a Trinity.